Hi everyone, I'm Kaitlin, better known as Kaitlin Andesign online. Um, I'm a designer, artist. I do all sorts of things, poetry, branding, with other people in my own projects. And I most recently designed my first ever ring. And that sounds super random, and you might be wondering why you are supposed to care. And that's fair. Um, I have been trying to chase all sorts of dreams in recent years, and 2020 was, well, um, it wasn't good. And I found myself consuming content constantly instead of being able to create. And I felt incredibly guilty about that and useless. And I couldn't figure out why I wasn't able to make things like I used to be able to. And I think it's me being hard on myself for sure, but also there was some necessary things that had to happen. And I think all of the things that happened last year and my own personal things, as well as what has been going on in the world, um, they had to process, they had to filter through and come out in a way that would work. And it took a long time. And it wasn't until December of last year that I actually had that spark come back and felt like I could do something. And so that's why I'm making this video. I kind of wanted to just introduce myself and then also tell you about the story behind this ring, because it's such a simple thing and it's hard to convey the significance in, 140 characters or, in a short post online. So that's why I'm here. The ring, which I will show you now, looks like this. It has been through a series of trials trying to figure out exactly what I want it to be. And I didn't know it was going to be a ring when I first had the idea come to mind. It's based on these 4 lines of a poem that I wrote, and it goes like this. Earth and sky, the horizon line, the moment when we meet. And it sounds kind of abstract, but I got really fixated on the visual of an hourglass, you know, and how standing on the horizon line as we exist in everyday life is much the same. We're right in the middle of the sky and earth, and I just linked that idea of being present and making the most of the time that we have. The sand falls in the middle. That's where the moments are that we're in. And so I kind of created it based on that. And I wanted it to be something that you could wear or like keep with you at the very least. And so the idea of trying a new medium, normally I don't make rings. I do a lot of different merchandise and posters and print and all that sort of stuff and digital, but I've never made my own ring before, and let alone jewelry, really. And so this was a new challenge, and it got my brain working again. It was a challenge that was feasible enough that it didn't overwhelm me. And I let it brew and I let it kind of just do what it had to do. And then one day I'm not even joking, hopped out of the shower to write down that poem before it left my brain. And I drew out a quick sketch. It was just like these 2 triangles with like a ring kind of shape around them. It's 2D, completely low, just not quality. And I had to label things to remember what I wanted them to be. And it worked. And I sat down and I stared at it and I was like, I want this. I need this to be a thing. And so I contacted a company that I've been following for a while, Isai. I will put a link in the description. They make beautiful jewelry. And I had recently bought a piece from them and loved it. And so, everything lined up. And they were really excited about the idea. And they've been absolutely lovely this whole time that we've been collaborating. And I just loved every step of this process. And there's a lot of influence behind it. There's a lot that is hard to talk about even. But just to name a few things, some of the things that got me through this last year are a part of this, whether you can see it or not. First of all is all the creators on YouTube that I follow: Peter McKinnon, Becky and Chris, Donna Did It, Cody Warner, The Future, Mark Holtz, Yes Theory, so many. I'm sorry if I forgot to name you. You guys kept me company when I was at my lowest this past year, and through doing what you do with the passion, the skill, the perspective that you have, it made me see things that I wouldn't have gotten to otherwise. And it's hard to explain that fully, but sort of overcoming that creative block and feeling useless and feeling like what I do isn't significant enough, it all started to kind of wash away a little bit, and that was a big piece of it. Peter McKinnon and his brand, Pete's Pirate Life, watching him make such intricate and beautiful things really inspired me a lot too. That one's a little bit more directly related to making a ring because he did the same thing at one point. Beyond that, we have, I don't know if you know, but I'm repping Critical Role today. My favorite, most nerdy thing, and I love it so much. They, as they would describe themselves, a group of nerdy-ass voice actors playing Dungeons and Dragons. If you don't follow them, you should go check them out. They are some of the sweetest people on the entire planet, and I only hope to work with them as much as possible someday in the future, because they're amazing. Check them out. They're super entertaining and entirely creative, and watching them really got my brain working again too. Which is, it seems completely indirect, but they were a huge piece of the puzzle in me feeling like I had a reason to get through the week even. Like, just that alone was enough to get me to the point that I'm at now. Beyond that, we have music. Music, man. I listen to so much music. I have so many records. The collection has expanded immensely over 2020 to a point where I am running out of room. And so many different artists have contributed to me coming back to myself. And just to name a few, there's too many. A few of them I talk to and are friends, and that would include Jack in the Way, Ren, Still Tide. Look them all up. I'm going to try to link everything below too. But Yannicka, the band, Bless the Fall, Lady Gaga, man. I love Lady Gaga. Just the creativity and not feeling, that's the trick. Consuming content does not mean that you're not creating at the same time, because subconsciously all of that is doing something in your brain. It doesn't just come into this wall and bounce off of you. It absorbs. And I think that I need that reminder. Consuming content isn't complacency. It's not stagnant. It's a part of the process. And sometimes you have to go into these hyper fixated hibernation modes where you're not making things, but you're taking it all in. And 2020 was such a good example of how drastic it can be sometimes. That was the just complete average shifter in my life, was 2020. Because normally it does not take that long, or I don't have periods of content consumption that lasts that long. Usually it's more steady in waves. And this was a huge one, and I felt really bad about it. And I was too hard on myself. And I think that created a block even more. And so all of this to say, be kind to yourselves, especially after everything that has been going on in the world. And, everybody's got their own stuff they're going through too. And I get that. Don't be too hard on yourself. This ring is a reminder of that, to just be present with yourself, appreciate what's happening right in front of you, and make the most of it, but don't feel like making the most of it means you have to be doing everything possible at every second. Doing nothing is just as important as creating the next revolutionary idea. You need different things at different moments in your life, and I think that that's important to remember. I don't buy in to the hustle culture. I believe in hard work. I believe in smart work. But I don't believe in burnout, man. Don't burn yourself out. It's not the way to do it. And I think just letting ideas sit for a while, sometimes it's the only way to get to that final resting place of just, this is it. This is what I want. This is how it's going to go. And this is how I'm going to do it. Be patient. Love yourself as much as you can in whatever way you can. Like, it means different things to different people. Self-love is important. Loving other people, telling people how you feel, asking for help, all of that is crucial. And 2020 was a huge learning curve for all of those things. So here's me saying, even if you can't buy this ring, even if you don't get it, keep those things in mind. Just look at the story, go on my website, KaitlinAndesign.com, save it and remind yourself sometimes just to be present and appreciate where you're at, because you've gotten here through all of the other stuff, and that's important. I know how hard it is. I really do. And my little motto, let's see if I can roll this sleeve up. My motto is live to inspire. And it's kind of a circular phrase. I live my life to inspire others to live their lives to inspire others. And it's a cycle. And I hope that it inspires people to live, you know? That's the goal. And that's what this ring represents to me, is coming out of the other end of just pure chaos and darkness, whether that was 2020 for you or something else happening in your life. And being able to wear that as a badge to be stronger and be better moving forward. So that's it. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter. Those are the main two. Kaitlin Andesign. I have Facebook and Tumblr and all the other things too, but I'm most active on those two. My website's KaitlinAndesign.com if you'd like to get the ring or just take a look at it, and my portfolio is there too. I'd love to work with you in whatever capacity, you know. I'm in the business of helping others build their own projects too, so happy to help. Let's make 2021 the best year yet, guys. Thanks. Talk soon.